Welcome back to Careful Boys. Today we got Mr. Matt Kim.
Hey.
We got Kristin back.
Hey, what's up, Kristin? What's up, dude?
Anthony's here.
Yeah.
I'm not clapping. I'm not clapping, Steve.
Good.
Yeah, I got your back.
Good job. Thank you. Today we are going to edit. We're not going to edit. We're not editing at all.
I won the video.
We're not editing. We are going to debate this election. Kamala Harris v. Trump. The throwdown and showdown of a lifetime pay-per-view event. Me versus you, pal.
Awesome. Split the room.
We're all undecided voters.
Wait, can you guys switch sides for this though?
Oh, right, left?
That's the next video. We'll do that.
So he's for Kamala, you're for Trump.
True. Oh, geez.
No, you gotta switch in the middle.
Oh,
jeez.
It's like debate class. You know how you had to do that in English class? You had to debate for and against.
Yeah. Okay, so give me your Trump case, and I'll give you my Kamala case.
Okay. I think that we clearly see what's been going wrong with society for the last 4 years. It is not good, it's expensive, things are falling apart, we have a huge immigration problem. I think it's very curious that Kamala has never won actually any primary votes, but yet she's a candidate for president. That's a huge problem for a lot of people. Actually, 30 million people voted for Joe Biden. And they said, oh, forget it, we actually don't care that you voted for him. We're just gonna replace him with this person. And you love her, you like her, she's really bright, she's really demure. You have to love her. And that's what we're
Very mindful.
Sure.
Joyful.
Thank you.
And I think the whole process is crazy because it's the Democratic Party that has done nothing to support the democratic process. I think that should be something that most people should care about. Because again, in America, we have the ability to choose who our candidates are. And Trump has been campaigning for a year nonstop. The Republican
He plays
Party,
a lot of golf, though.
it doesn't even matter if he played golf or not. The Republican Party voted for him. The people voted for him. People wanted him, and he campaigned for it. Kamala has done nothing. Doesn't do press conferences. Doesn't do literally does nothing.
Done nothing?
All of a sudden,
Done nothing?
all of a sudden,
She's the Vice President of the United States.
and even Joe Biden, being president of the United States, did a little bit of campaigning. She's done nothing.
I'm switching sides. I agree.
You with the Kamala?
Yeah, I agree.
Hang on, let me give you my Kamala pitch.
All right, well.
So, yeah, Kamala would love to do something about the immigration thing, except Trump and the MAGA extremist Republicans, they wouldn't allow that cool immigration bill to pass, which would have done so many things and fixed it. And would have got more agents to the border, and they wanted to do drone surveillance stuff, and like thermal imaging.
Yeah, she was the border czar.
So, I had a conversation with a guy that works for the USCIS, which is Immigration Services. If you're here legally and you want to sponsor your relative to come to the United States legally, you fill out a form called I-130. I-130 is what you apply for so that I can get my family member a visa or a way to come in. Most people who have family overseas have filled out that form. Last year in November and December, they stopped processing that form. Meaning, if you have family members in the queue to come to the country legally, they are not even looking at that application. Instead, they're using, those same agents are now processing TPS reports for Venezuelans. And the Venezuelans are flown here by the Biden administration. No border bill would have saved that. What they're doing is saying, if you're here legally and you're doing the process and doing it the proper way, we actually don't care about you. You are second-rate citizens, and the people that we are flying in, and we're actually letting them roam around the country for free. Not only for free, but we are paying them to be here. They are more important than you are. That is a huge problem.
I'm going on that side because Hannah's an immigrant and she's not getting paid.
Yeah, but he's a racist.
It's a good argument.
All right.
It's not
Why
fair.
did you talk about how they're Venezuelan?
That's racist.
You know what I mean? So yeah, my big thing about that, I guess, is she's trying, man. She's trying.
Honest effort. It's a good honest effort.
Trying hard, man. Trying hard right now.
I think it's crazy that she's in charge. She was in charge of the border, and she was the border czar. And they say no, she wasn't the border czar. Except there's countless federal documents saying that Kamala Harris is the border czar. She's also in charge of AI, which is wild. that you put her in charge of AI, and AI is getting out of control. Deepfakes are out of control. You can't even know if an article is real or not real because everything is fake.
If she's in charge of AI,
She's in charge of AI.
they've done a sick job because AI is kind of sick right now.
Well, it's not the technology. She's in charge of monitoring and helping figure out ways to regulate it.
Are you one of those Trump guys who's like, he posts a picture of Trump that you made with Grok on like a Velociraptor, and then you shit on Kamala for giving you AI?
I don't even know what that means.
Ooh, that's 1 point for Steve.
Like a yes. Sounds like a yes. So all this cool AI stuff, you get to have Trump on a grizzly bear or some shit like that, firing a shotgun or whatever like that, made by AI. But then all of a sudden you hate AI.
Well, I don't hate AI. I think AI is a huge problem. It's something that we have to address because AI will be the future for the next 5, 10, 15 years of our lives. And I think that we need to be thinking about it more carefully, and that the government actually does have to figure out how to regulate it. However, if you regulate it too hard, then you're going to lose the AI race to other countries, which is a big deal. Because actually AI and whoever gets sent in AI first is the arms race of the world. That's the only thing people actually care about. Because whoever achieves that first will be the new world power. And now do you want Kamala, who's been in charge of it for 4 years, who doesn't know what cloud computing is? Do you want her in charge of AI? That's crazy.
How do you know she doesn't know what cloud computing is?
Have you ever seen the clip of her trying to explain cloud computing? You should definitely look it up.
I saw it, but then
Have you seen that clip?
It's pretty embarrassing.
I saw it. I don't. So do you think Trump knows everything about cloud computing? Yeah, right.
I think at least they're thinking about it. They are putting people in place to think about it and talk about it. And he is not the president right now. She is actually in charge of AI as we speak.
I don't want to talk about AI.
Okay, I don't want to talk about
AI is boring.
Yeah.
Next point.
He can't win
I
that
want to
point.
talk about how Trump.
He's like a CNN fucking reporter.
I want to talk about how Trump and the extremist MAGA Republicans inflated the budget, blew up the deficit, ran up spending, and cut taxes at the same time for all of his buddies who are rich.
So,
Ooh, good point, good point.
if you remember COVID in 2020, when most of the spending of COVID happened, actually Trump wanted to open the country back up.
Yeah, and we should have stayed closed because we were getting messed up.
That's just definitively not true. Because I live in an area that we never really shut down. We were shut down for 3 weeks. And I'm looking around, everyone's still alive, everyone's still fine.
We have cases.
That's actually the way
There's
to do it.
cases. COVID cases.
I mean, if we're gonna make a COVID argument, that's just ridiculous at this point. Because most people in life know that COVID was a pandemic, that it wasn't actually as dangerous as we were told, that it changed and affected the way we live our lives, and that COVID was an excuse in order to change the direction of society and change the direction of an election.
COVID? You don't think COVID was real?
No, I don't.
I think I won that one.
Stupid.
I had COVID.
I mean,
I had a little test and it said that I had COVID.
here you are, still fine.
No, yeah, but I had it.
Yeah,
He got the vaccine.
I would not do that.
Wait, Steve, you didn't get the vaccine?
What the fuck?
Wait, you're a Kamala supporter? You didn't get the vaccine? You didn't get the vaccine?
I was busy. I was immunized.
Did you get one?
No, he got 8 boosters. Look at his arm.
I was immunized. No, this is for my cutting my tree down.
I think we often forget that one side told us you have to get vaccinated, that you can't go to work if you don't get vaccinated, that you have to stay home, that you have to shut down the schools, that the kids have to do online learning, and that was really detrimental to the future generation. I think that the harm that was created by forcing kids to stay home, you can't reverse that. The depression is at an all-time high. Drug use is at an all-time high. People are more separated from their friends and community than ever before. Actually, this year, the most people have stayed home by themselves than ever in the history of the world. And that created and was started because of COVID and the draconian measures that were put in place. And we often forget that it was one side of the country that said you have to stay home, which was absolutely wrong. It destroyed the country and destroyed society. And we're trying to figure out how to get it back. And to reward the people that forced us to stay homes and said you can't see your grandmother, you can't go watch a kid be born, that you can't be a part of the community. That's wild. How do you reward really poor and bad behavior?
Have you ever heard the term "better to be safe than sorry"?
We knew really quickly that forcing kids to be home was a bad idea. We knew that really on. Why?
Sweden didn't do it, or whatever. One of them, they were like, "We are not going to do this."
Sweden didn't do it, and plenty of states didn't do it. It's the Democratic states that force. I was walking around LA and they're like, yeah, we were locked down for 2 years in California. I'm like, 2 years?
It was bad.
2 years? Are you kidding me? 2 years?
I was in San Francisco, and then they're like, "Are you vaccinated?" And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" They're like, "You can't eat in this restaurant." And I was like, "Well, I'll go to Chinatown then, bitch." And I went to Chinatown and I gave my money to them because they don't give a fuck.
Nope.
They'll serve you chow mein without vaccination cards.
What do you think about? Okay, I don't want to talk about COVID anymore.
He keeps losing.
I would like to talk
Economic
now.
policy.
Wait, you didn't talk about, you conveniently sidestepped the deficit thing. Republicans spent so much money.
Everyone spent a lot of money. Could that have been done better? Yes. But at the same time, everyone was spending money. The Democratic Party spent a lot of money. The Republican side spent a lot of money. And if the Democratic Party had a problem with the money that was spent during COVID, they would have stopped spending money when they got elected. Instead, they end up spending even more.
But isn't...
So there's no case to say that the Republicans were spending too much because given the opportunity, they didn't stop spending. It's only, they say, no, that side spends too much. But no one ever says, well, maybe we should stop spending that.
Why are you so down for all these companies price gouging consumers?
I mean, I'm not.
That sounds like you are, because you're like, I want to have Trump win.
I don't see the corollary there at all.
Well, so Kamala wants to put price controls in place so that we don't have to get gouged anymore by these guys.
I mean, we have a free economy that the market should decide what things are priced at, and the fact that the government is trying to tell us how to price our items is kind of crazy.
Stop scamming us so bad.
Well, talk to the corporations that are doing it, that are historically very democratic at this point.
They don't really talk about that stuff. Well, because how come the prices for everything are so high? They could cut the prices.
They could.
I
should.
have an internet web store, and if I want, like, I sell hats and stuff, I can just knock down the price.
And they definitely should do that.
You just like
why during the
tax-based.
Biden administration have all the corporations price gouged? Why have they increased their prices and not helped out at all to help the population? And they all tend to be on the Democratic side. And we say, no, like if Trump comes in, like he's gonna make it worse. Like, no, it's really bad right now. It's really expensive out there. And I was shocked to find out how much gas is in California.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
How much is it
it
now?
came down. It came down.
Yeah.
Down is crazy.
It came down from $8.
It's like $4.89. That's not bad.
That's good. By the way, that's the biggest reduction in gas.
Do you guys remember during the lockdowns? If you go to certain small towns here, like by the PCH going to NorCal, $12 a gallon, dude.
No.
In Georgia, gas is under $3. It's a commodity. It's
Under
actually
Joe Biden.
It's all the same price. In California, with the Democratic policies, the tax on gas is over like $1.50.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Where's all that tax money going? What is it going for? And I looked it up. It said for green energy. Like what? For climate change. Where is that $1.50 per gallon of all the drive? Dude, I've been in California for a week now. Everyone drives. Gas is just. Where's all that extra money going to? Why is it $2 more expensive here?
A charging station built.
Yeah, no, she got 0 charging stations built.
She got one.
They spent $8 billion and they built 0 charging stations.
One is better than none.
One charging station with $8 billion.
But it,
Look,
you know, sometimes they're
$8
expensive.
billion.
She's trying, you know.
And they spent $42 billion to bring internet and high-speed internet to rural America, and they built 0 connections.
Okay, I got it.
Where did that $52 billion go?
It's like when you're building. If you ever have been an entrepreneur, you're trying to build a product. Yet the first one's so expensive to build, and now they got it, and now they can make a bunch.
Prototype. Like trial and error.
Either
got it
that
built.
or you're doubling down on failed policies, you're doubling down on someone that has proven that they are not competent enough to actually spend that money properly, and you're hoping that some way, somehow, she's gonna win and all of a sudden she's become all of a sudden competent. She's been nothing but incompetent. Every program that she's been in charge of, they failed at, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, I bet you she wins. Like she's gonna do it good this time. Actually, it doesn't make any logical sense.
Well, in the previous video, you said that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are two different people. Do you
Yes.
agree with that?
I do.
So how come she has to take blame for everything that he did?
Because she was in charge of the EV stations, she was in charge of the rural high-speed internet program, she was in charge of the border, she's in charge of AI.
Send me a link to that.
Yes, I
Send me a
will.
link to that.
Google, you'll find it. It's federal documents. You can't hide them.
I thought she was in charge of just going around shaking hands and then doing dinners.
Of the 4 things that she was in charge of, actually all 4 of those programs have failed.
Wow. But what if it's like the staff's fault? Because you know when you run a business, it's like you're just like, I can't find any good help.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'll do it, you know. And then but she's busy having dinner with other politicians and shit. So she doesn't have the time to go to the charging factory and make sure they're doing a good job.
Yeah, and a good leader doesn't take the blame, you know?
Yeah, just pass on
You
someone
think
else.
Trump's gonna take the blame? You think Trump's gonna ever take the blame?
Is he a good leader?
Okay. Are you check this out? So how come? So like the most important thing, probably the bedrock of our foundation is our democracy.
Yes.
Trump probably wanted to get rid of that. So now you
Well-
have January 6th, 2020.
Okay.
And that situation where he tried to get a bunch of fake electors and they were trying to overthrow the United States government. What do you think
So
about that?
we allege that he tried to do that. We know for sure that Kamala did not win not one vote, but yet we're saying that he's going to ruin democracy, yet she has not gotten one vote to become the nominee.
She's on the
So
ticket.
I think it's obvious. I mean, I think it's. She has gotten 0 votes, not one.
She's on the ticket.
Not one.
She's on the
How,
ticket.
how did she end up on the ticket though?
She's just
It just sounds like he's misogynistic. He doesn't like seeing a woman rise up into power.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's good.
You know.
Yeah, I'm a misogynist.
Yep.
That's good.
And then the women just working hard to rise up. A man just sees that as threatening.
Yo.
So
He told me in a video he didn't even think lesbians were real.
That's crazy.
That was crazy. Okay, my other. So okay, the democracy thing though.
Yes.
Are you worried about that?
No. I think actually the Constitution of the United States is extremely strong. And we say that one side's going to ruin democracy, one side's going to ruin democracy, whatever it is. I actually think that the Constitution is a really strong document and that it will force democracy to stay the way it is. And I argue that we're not even really in a democracy anyway. We don't all vote for the same issues. We elect the people that make the decisions on our behalf. So it's actually not even a democracy.
How come when I watch the news it says Democracy 2024?
Well, that's because you only watch CNN.
there's a channel called Democracy Now.
Fox News says Democracy 2024 too.
Yeah, I think the
saw
idea
the
of
website
democracy
today.
is different because democracy says that we all, when we vote for everything, which is actually not true. The system was built so that we don't have that because what democracy does is creates mob rule. Because everyone, depending on what trends, anything can change.
Democracy.
Are you-
We're actually built as a constitutional republic.
Yes.
Meaning we vote for people to make the decisions on our behalf.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, it's true. It's actually true.
So my thing too, right, about Trump. What I'm worried about with Trump is that he's going to take Social Security away from seniors, and he's going to tax poor people.
So, Social Security itself is a huge problem. The reality is, the way it's going now, in 5, 6, 7 years, we actually won't have enough money to fund the aging population as it is. So maybe you can blame whoever you want for it, but it needs some sort of revamp because if you leave it the way it is, it's not going to be there anyway. To say he's going to remove it, the trajectory of where we're going, it's not going to be there anyway. Every single one of us that are paying into Social Security, we're not going to get our money back. So you actually have to address it. And by Kamala saying, oh yeah, we're going to keep it around forever, you need a plan. How does that even make sense? You can't keep on spending money and not solve this problem and say it's going to be there and we're going to save it. How? There's not enough money in the pot to actually pay people out. They've messed it up for so many years at this point. And reality is, if you didn't pay any money to Social Security and you invested in a 401k or you just invested in whatever stock, you'd have 10 times the money. So the government has messed up your Social Security over and over and over again. And actually figuring out how to remove it or change it is what's actually needed.
It's called social insecurity now.
A little bit.
I mean, we're not gonna have it. It's crazy. We've all paid in so
Yeah.
much money over our life,
We're not getting it back.
and we're not gonna get a dime back.
And it's also because of the population, the youth that's supposed to be the working group that's taking care of the older group. The gap is just too crazy. Yeah.
So my biggest problem with both sides, when you watch the presidential debate, is that neither side actually addressed the debt, the U.S. debt. neither side actually addressed it.
They address a lot of golfing though,
Yeah.
and that's important
That is
because it's after the pandemic,
right.
golfing just boomed.
Our interest that we're paying on the federal debt is so large
Crazy.
that we're actually going to be bankrupt in a handful of years.
So who?
Meaning, whoever wins, they actually have to show some sort of fiscal. They have to be safer with the money.
But we owe the
There have to.
Federal Reserve, right? So that means they're just gonna repo all of our homes, or what?
They're just
like-
gonna sell our houses.
Because I hear the debt, right? But I'm like, I know we borrow money from other countries, but is most of that the Federal Reserve that we owe? Does anyone know who?
A lot of it
It's
is
bonds in
sponsored
China.
bonds.
It's bonds. It's bonds, and China buys the shit out of it, right?
I don't know.
And
Because
a lot-
we
it's just
owe
not-
And a lot of the
money,
banks
yeah.
and financial institutions own a lot of the debt within the
Yeah.
country too. Actually, China, I think they own like 15 or 20% of the debt, and the U.S. citizens own most of the debt.
I heard
Meaning, if you own the
yeah.
debt, you're not going to get your money back. It's actually a really big
the
problem.
two biggest countries that own American debt is Japan and Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone needs to figure out how to restructure the debt, and that's actually a thing that one of them, whoever wins, has to figure that out. Because if they don't figure that out, and if they go in and all they do is spend and spend and spend, dude, we're gonna go bankrupt.
Well, Trump hates democracy.
He's a racist.
He's a racist, and no, I actually think that there's something to be said about how Kamala brings like a more of a chill vibe to the White House, and Trump is more of an, we don't know what he's going to do next kind of thing.
I think the idea that he has a more stronger personality, I think is actually needed, because I think it's the wavering and the weakness of the Biden administration that has helped create a lot of the problems, because people don't respect the country and they're willing to do the things that they do. I think having a strong leader, especially in a time where we have so much chaos and social unrest, that strength, when they say strength, peace through strength, I actually do think that means something. I think that's important. Like if you're a higher CEO of any company, you want the guy to be strong and competent and kind of feared. That's the leader you want to follow. You don't want to follow someone that's like, oh, it's too chill and too cool. Like, it's wartime. That's not what you want.
Someone gangster like Bill Gates.
Yeah, my favorite clip of Trump is when he was at the G20 and he was in the back of the line and all the world leaders are in front and he walks through and he like pushes people out of the way, does one of these and walks up in front and everyone follows behind him. Like, that's kind of what you want in a president. You want the guy that's in charge.
I can't really imagine Kamala hanging out with Putin and like making him not.
He's not gonna
get
take
out
her
of Ukraine.
seriously.
I can't either.
I know, right? Don't say that, Steve. Come on, man. What are we doing, dude?
Dude, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
Come on.